throwback party here in the car. Hello, it's me. It's your boy, Lou, hanging out in the car. Let's see if I can get the color balance to change. No, don't focus on the outside, man. Hello, how are you? I'm okay. You know, I'm in the car, so how bad things could be? How could things be bad? How bad? Things could be worse. Of course. Greetings to you. I'm coming to you now from 9:30 a.m. in the morning here in New York City. I had one of those parking spots today that is no parking from 8:30 to 10. So that is an unusual situation as far as that sort of thing goes. Normally I try to park in front of the building, but I did not park the car. So the car got parked on Columbia Heights here in beautiful Brooklyn Heights Historic District. America's first suburb, as some might say. Not subdivision, suburb. I'd show you the beautiful skyline, but it's obscured by all these goddamn trees. Good morning, Mark. How are you? How are you doing today? I hope you're okay. I don't know where you are. You're in Canada, I assume. Or are you flying? I have no idea. Yeah. Had this interesting experience in the car this morning where so I'm on one of those today is one of those days where you actually are supposed to move your car when the street cleaner comes. Like, so the street cleaner shows up and everyone moves their cars over, street gets cleaned, and then you move your cars back. So today I was sitting in the car. Now there's this I don't know what it is. It's some sort of like a window washing crane or a cable installer crane truck parked behind me. So I couldn't see the car coming, the street cleaner coming. But the street cleaner came, and I didn't notice until it was like right parallel with my car. Oh my gosh, excuse me. I looked up and I was like starting the car, and you know, this guy in the street cleaner just looked down at me and was just like, and I was like, what? I don't have to move my car. What the? So he just kept going down the street, and I could see that the next block everyone had pulled over when they saw the car, but no one on my block pulled over for the street cleaner. So this street is going to be filthy dirty for a whole week now, with all of the dog poos and the gritty grimes. But yeah, it's sort of like a baffler, you know. So it's like the whole reason that I'm in the car is for street cleaning. If they don't clean the street when I'm in the car, it feels kind of like, well, why am I here? You know what I mean? You know, it starts a whole existential thing. But yes, this is Labor Day weekend. Didn't do much yesterday. Sort of in a one of those relationship struggle days, so it was quiet. I did go to watch a movie on Amazon Prime at home, so I didn't actually go anywhere. But yes, I watched The Little Hours with Alison Brie and Aubrey Plaza and Kate McCucci. It was very. It was The Little Hours was a weird movie, but I enjoyed it. It was sort of like it was a quiet movie, so it's like not a ton happens, but it's never like, where's this going? Boring. It's just sort of like fascinating to watch. And I really liked. There's like a whole thing with like a pagan ritual in the woods, kind of thing, and there's all these women dancing naked, and they're wearing you can see that they're wearing these like fake pubic covers. So it's like a merkin for a lady. I don't know if there was a lady merkin, but the lady merkin. Greetings. No, there didn't. There was some. It looked like a big piece of felt across all their crotches. It was kind of funny. And it was lensed, as they say, cinematographed by a friend of mine's wife. So I finally saw it and I was like, all right, I like it. Good movie. I enjoyed it. And it has kind of a ridiculous ending. Not ridiculous as in like a spaceship comes down. But it was still entertaining. And then after that I watched Lady Bird, which was also, I enjoyed Lady Bird, but I was surprised that it had so much acclaim. Because, I mean, while it was entertaining, it wasn't like a mind blower. Not like The Matrix. But yeah. What's the last movie you saw, Mark? I was going to go see Black Klansman. But by the time that came up, I was like, too far away. You know, we have a movie theater that's very close to my house, but it's showing all like The Nun and, you know, other shit I don't want to see. I've had enough jump scares in my life that I don't need to see something where I'm just like, wait, is that The Nun? Oh no, it's that Nun. It should be called Witch Nun. It's going to make you scream and jump. Doesn't the Catholic Church have enough problems out right now without a nun going crazy with the demons, even if it was a while ago? Oh, Toronto International Film Festival starts this week. Do you go to that, Mark, or is that just something you know about? When I first moved back to New York, and I had made my own feature film back in the Disney, I went to the New York Independent Feature Film Market, which was like, you know, in theory, sort of like the New York answer to Sundance or whatever, where it's sort of like all these independent films come and they show, and there's like lots of seminars. And I went to that 2 years in a row. Well, good for you, Mark, to go to this independent feature film festival. I hope that you see something that is not terrible and that is worthwhile. Because when I went to the New York Independent Feature Film Market, but interestingly, where I ran into Mark McKinney's brother, it was a million years ago, but I was just sort of like, holy shit. And I started up a conversation with him, and we watched several movies together, and they all sucked. But yeah, I mean, the films I saw, there was only one movie I walked out of, and it was an early HD video movie, and that's not why we walked out, because it looked fine. But it was about a guy in New York, and he has like a troublemaking. Either it was like his, not an alter ego, because it didn't take him over, but it was like a troublemaking sort of like imaginary dude who shows up and makes jokes when he least needs it. So he'll be at a job interview, and this super cornball guy will be like, "Hey, what do you think about that? Waka waka," kind of thing. And then, but there was also like sound effects, like, you know, it was like the straight Hanna-Barbera sound effects library, and we were like, let's leave like about 10 minutes in, which is rare because I've sat through some like super shit movies. And then there was the other movie. Oh man, this movie was so weird. Hello, Billy Heenahan. Is that how you pronounce the last name? Heenahan. I don't know. Heenahan. That's how I would pronounce it. Hello. Just talking about films and whatnot. But this other film that I saw at the New York Independent Feature Film Market back in the 90s was it was about four friends, like two black, two Latino from the Bronx, different stages of their lives, but they get together every year to go for this like trip. And they're just reminiscing about like fucking with each other and all the different girls they had sex with, and it's really silly. And it's like, the one time I put, I replaced your anti-spermicidal lube with, Easy or Bengay or like, something that would burn your dick. And, she's like, oh, what's wrong, baby? He's like, my dick's on fire. Great laughs. And then once they start the road trip, they go upstate, they get pulled over by some cops. And the cops are assholes to them. And one of them is in the DEA. Or the FBI. He's like a legit, officer of the law. And one of them is like, two of them are like really successful, and two of them are like, less successful monetarily or career-wise, but still have jobs. So put it that way. Like one guy's a car mechanic and one guy is something else. And Billy, I'm sitting. I have a 9:30 or 8:30 to 10 a.m. car slot today on Columbia Heights. So it's a weird one. So anyway, this guy, I don't know if I've talked about this movie before in the show, but so they get pulled over by these racist cops who give them a bunch of shit, and then then they're in a diner, and these cops come in and are like, and they're in like some upstate New York, and the cops are like, we don't want you kind around here, like super racist assholes about it. And then they get in a fight with those guys and they leave, and then they're driving, and then the same cops pull them over again and are like, I told you, blah, 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 blah. And then the one guy's like, hey guys, I'm in the FBI. And then they kill that guy. The cops kill that guy in front of everybody. And then they're like, now we're going to have to kill everybody. And the one guy, the heavy set dude, escapes, and he's like running through the woods, and he finds a house, and he's like, help. And they open the door, and it's the dude from the diner that they got in a fight with, who was like super racist to them. So in the end, they all die. And it's like supposed to be this buddy, travel comedy about them going somewhere, and they all die. Like all of them are murdered in one way or another. And then the credits roll, and I was like, what the fuck? Who makes a movie like this? The first half of the movie is just like, like, remember that time? And, and then it turns into them just all dying in the woods or like on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. They're like, we got to cover this up, like super dumb. And then on the way out, the director was leaving, and it was this Japanese guy who barely spoke English. Like, he was just like, oh, thank you. Like, I was like, like, what? It's not, that was always the best part. It's like, no better person to capture the friendships built in the rough and tumble Bronx than a dude from Japan. Not saying that he couldn't have done this perfectly well, but it was a surprise, a twist at the ending of the silliness. But yeah, that was a weird thing. Going to those international feature film, or it wasn't New York independent feature film markets, wasn't great. I feel like Monica Lewinsky was at one of those back when she was trying to do her like purse line. But I did go to a bunch, and I saw, a bunch of different panels with famous people on them. Learned some stuff, but it was not nothing super revelatory, other than, the dream of making movies is like way more complicated than people think, because of all of the legal shit and the musical shit, like all the music licensing and all the laws. Yeah, I think that's really the only two movies I remember. Oh no, and the movie that the Louis what's his name? Louis Black, the guy from Louis Black, right? Yeah, that's his name. He had a short film there that like I was like, this is amazing. I fucking loved every minute of it. And fast forward over 20 years later, you cannot see this movie. It's like this weird. I've talked about this multiple times in my life. It's like this weird movie about a business deal that's happening in this like weird palatial cloud office that these two power brokers are having this insane one-upsmanship conversation, and it's just fucking great. And then it ends super weirdly, and apparently it was a play, like a off-Broadway play that he made, and then he was made into a short film, and it was really great. And then one time I think I reached out to him because I was like, where is this movie? And he was like, I think it's on this compilation DVD. And it was on some super weird DVD. I didn't want it that bad that I would, do that. But yeah, it's burned into my head, some parts of it, even from the one viewing. It was really good. Similarly, when I went to Sundance, the one year I went to visit Sundance, courtesy of my father, just paid for me and my friend to go, when we were working on our movie, we went to the Slam Dance Festival because it was easier to get tickets to see those movies. And the Slam Dance, there was a terrible movie called like Waiting for the Avatar or something like that. I mean, it was like a classic independent feature film with like not a great story and not great acting and shot on black and white for some reason. It was something. Something for the Avatar. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't about Avatar, Aang, or the girl, or the blue people. It's pre that, but but it was just called The Charlie Tangent Story, and it was about this really terrible comedian, and my friend and I saw it, and we were just like laughing hysterically because we thought it was really funny. And then later, after that, I came back to New York and I reached out to those people and I was like, hey, can I get a copy of your film? I thought it was really funny. I'd like to show it to my friends. And this is back when you had to do it on VHS. And, I was like, and they were like, we just moved to New York. And I was like, great. And I kept trying to get them to give me a copy of their fucking film, and they would not do it. They just kept blowing me off. And to this day, I still don't get why you would just blow off someone who is trying to see your stuff. I mean, now, of course, you can just be like, just fucking go to YouTube. Or, just be in disbelief that they don't have a way to play media that isn't of physical nature. There's a million, not literally, but many ways you can distribute your films now without having to do that. But back then, this is 96-ish, I was like, I was like, hey, can I just get a copy of your tape? And now you can look, if you look up Charlie Tangent, you can see the video on YouTube, and it's not that funny. I mean, it was funny at the time to us, just because of being in the independent film market and like, the silliness of the whole thing. But it was just really my type of comedy, real silly and weird. But those were some really interesting experiences. Of course, my then film partner Nate went back to Sundance many times, and interned, which is probably what we should have done back then together. But we just went, and what did we do? We went and saw lots of. The very first night we went there, we were so naive. We just went to we were staying in Salt Lake, and we went to the local theater that was showing movies with no tickets, and we were like, oh, let's get a ticket. And got the ticket, and we literally were standing out in front like, oh fuck, there's no way we're getting tickets. And just two people came up and were like, hey, do you need tickets? We can't go, so would you like our tickets? And they just gave us the tickets. I mean, they may have made us pay face value, which was like $10, but so we saw a movie called I think Walking and Talking, starring Catherine Kinnear and some other people. And it was a very mid-90s independent feature film. It was pretty, but featured a lot of walking and talking and a lot of people making bad choices and then talking about them and the consequences of them after they have ruined their friendships and whatnot. God, there was another movie, I think it was called Palooka. That was a weird one. Oh, the staccato purr of exhaust. If anyone's ever seen that movie, oh man, is that movie depressing. Oh man, I recommend that movie because I loved the name, staccato purr of exhaust. It's a really good movie name. I think it did get a small release. That was about a weird guy living in, like, a little Mexican kid living in LA and wanting to leave, and he's just paralyzed by the fear of leaving. And it's so, like, and then there's a weird character in that movie that's like the sort of all-knowing Latino mob boss who he floats in his chair, like, and, you know, it's clear that he is supposed to be floating, but whenever the guy's like, how are you doing that? His chair drops to the ground, and he's just like, what are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, the chair. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he'd be like, anyway, and then the guy will start floating again, and it's like, it makes no sense, and it's like obviously like a weird inside joke for the director, I guess, or the crew, or whoever thought it'd be funny to have this, like, straight movie about a guy who is miserable and is just constantly, like, getting, you know, his misery is never ever abating. And then I think he meets a girl, and she basically gives him the opportunity to leave, and then he's just, like, paralyzed at the highway exit, like, he can't do it. And it's fucking depressing as shit. That's how movies are these days, I suppose. But yeah, I'm trying to think of other movies I saw at those things. I remember we got in to see a Wallace and Gromit before it came out. We got to see a bunch of stuff. But I don't think anything I ever saw at the New York Independent Feature Film Market got made or picked up. I'm sure something did. But it was weird. Like, and I volunteered one year for it to go see it. And that was a good experience. But at the same time, it was very, like, it was weird. I have a friend. So the year I volunteered for the New York Independent Feature Film Market, I was outside the Directors Guild Hall, in, I don't know, Lower Manhattan somewhere. And some lady walked by, right? She was an older woman, but, like, still really well put together and in, like, a sausage casing dress. You know, just the kind of, like, weird voluptuousness that, like, it'll turn your head because you're just like, damn, like, that's bold. It's a bold choice to wear that skin tight clothing. You're, like, you know, crazy red lips and just ridiculous high heels, and, you know, not streetwalker, but, like, trampy, but, like, still publicly acceptable, I guess. And it turned my head. I was just like, damn. And the guy who was coordinating the interns was just like, don't even look at that fucking garbage. Like, you don't, it's beneath you. She's not worth it. She's gross. You know, don't even justify her choice to wear those clothes. And I was just like, what the fuck? Okay. Yeah, he was, and the woman was clearly pleased that people were looking, right? She was just like, I got it going on. But that guy just was just like, fuck that lady. Fuck that lady. She's gross. And I was like, okay, sure, I get it. That was a weird internship. I don't even remember what I did because it probably wasn't very much. Anyway, that's pretty funny. But my time in the car has come to an end. Thank you for watching. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. Looking forward to an insanely hot day here in New York City. Keys in hand. Oh shit, I did not plug in my phone. I'm glad that it didn't die while I was on the fucking stream. Alright, thanks for watching. I don't have to move the car back today because now I have officially served my car penance. We'll see you later, everybody. Bye-bye.